I'm Brittany.
I'm Nicole.
And we're those girls. Welcome to season 2, episode 2 of our podcast. Today, we have some fun stories to go over. We've been in this whole conundrum, I don't know how to say conundrum. We've been in this whole rabbit hole of social media and people posting some crazy things and some not so crazy things. And so we figured we would kind of dive into those and see what's going on in the world.
First of all, I've been having I wouldn't say that I love social media, but I kind of have a beef with it lately.
Oh yeah,
what is everyone's problem?
Wait, hold on, but there's so many different levels that we could go down on that.
Someone will post something normal that's not a big deal. All right,
are you on Facebook?
No, it doesn't matter which app. I hate TikTok. TikTok's the worst one. But anyways, this is an example. Sorry,
No.
I didn't plan on going on this.
No, but I want to hear it.
But this girl posted this video today. I saw it in the reels, and it was just it's a little bit dark, but she was baking cookies, and basically she was saying, I love this moment of baking cookies with my kids, even though they don't like sweets, and trying to get them to try them because I didn't unalive myself when I was 14. So she was saying she was suicidal when she was 14, and she was super grateful that she didn't do it because now she has this moment. And she was being a little bit funny because she was saying so all the people in the comments are like, what are you bragging that your kids don't like sweets? You sound so stupid. Come on, who cares?
People fixate on
the weirdest part of it.
Yeah, and I think that happens with everything. I know we've had weather here over the last couple days, and so people, one of the big things I saw on Facebook, it's I don't even know what day it is. When we had the snow earlier in the week, they were like, well, is trash day delayed? And then it's the comments instead of yes or no, it's oh, well, trash is delayed because the sun came out, and trash is this and trash why? It was an honest question asked.
I just been noticing lately, it's a super excuse for people to be
mean,
have disgusting manners, and be super unkind for no reason. Yeah. Anyway, that was my beef with it today because I've just been seeing I feel it's getting worse. Maybe I'm just noticing it more. I don't know.
I think when we go through different things or we're at different levels in our lives, things pop out to us differently.
Maybe that's
right. So we're super busy. We've got a lot going on, and I feel like life, for some reason, in 2024 has decided that it's going to throw all the shit at us 18 days in. We've gone from every single emotion to every single event.
Wait, what's your sign?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh yeah, you're not in this group.
No, I'm not in the group because I've been reading all of those.
Have you been reading the stuff?
Yes.
So if anyone cares about astrology and stuff, which I kind of do, I
love astrology.
It's always scarily close to what's going on in my life without me saying it.
My 7-year-old on Tuesday night comes out of the shower to get dressed for it. And she goes, is it at full moon? Because this is just not working for me. She's 7. Yeah. I was like, the full moon was on the 11th, or the new moon was on the 11th. And she was like, we just need to get through whatever cycle this is. She's 7.
Well, all of my horoscopes have been if you're an Aries, you've gone through a 15-year journey of lessons and basically a bunch of bullshit, which is completely true. And it's supposedly on the 25th, it's supposed to all change. So we'll see.
We're just waiting.
All right. But anyway, so we'll go to what we were going to do. So in social media, me and you have been kind of collecting real estate posts because they're super interesting. And there's a lot of weird stuff out there because of the lawsuit, which we've talked about a lot.
We've talked about it a lot.
So anyway, we'll just read one of them. You sent me this the other night and I have so many questions. All right. So I'm representing a seller who's accused of arson, assault, attempted murder, and a slew of other charges. They contacted me to sell their home, and I hesitated for several reasons and then agreed. My thought process being that everyone needs to sell their home, and the community I love wants them out of the community as soon as possible. I have concerns over my reputation and guilt for the injured parties. The money is not great on these sales, so please do not think that greed is related. Has anyone out there worked with a client like this? Has it ended well, or did you come to the realization that you would never do that again?
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
So many things. So many things. I'm going to say from a real estate agent perspective that people all the time think that there's a client for every person and there's a person for every client, right? It's just that's part of nature. But I say nature literally, like that's just part of what it is. But there's a rhetoric in the real estate world that like someone who dies, like we had a sale this past year where someone died in the family, and so the house went on the market. And so the house went on the market, but it went on the market very quickly. And so I was automatically called an ambulance chaser in the world.
Right, but they contacted you.
They contacted
and nobody
me.
knows how things
But
start.
there are people
that do that.
That literally will go to they will read the obituaries and then they will go to funerals and they will give their business card. So like this person who's like, well, like it's not about the money. There are people that follow the criminal system and then they're like, oh, do you need services? Just like an attorney will do, just like this. So like
I get it.
Like, but but
number one, you're doing it for the money. Fine. It's your job.
It's our job.
We should get paid.
It's our job.
I don't know why that's always a debate.
It's our job.
Why do people always like accuse us of like, you're just doing it for money? Yeah, I'm working for money.
Right.
I don't know how that's any different than anyone else.
But
this one,
I digress onto, I mean, and the questions, and I'm getting better at screenshotting some of the comments. So hopefully in future ones we'll have them. But in this one, like, what was the arson? What did we set on fire?
He said arson, assault, attempted murder, and a slew of other charges.
Right. But like, did we try to set someone else on fire? Did we, like,
well, so I'm sure you've had this thought too of like, I guess does it matter to us what the situation is? Because in the end of the day, you're still just doing your job. Or do we have like a moral compass of like, if I think this of this person and their lifestyle, am I not going to do their loan? Nah. Like,
well, so before I got into real estate, and how my life is just twisted and turned, I always said I was either going to be a teacher or I was going to be an attorney. And yeah, you learn something new. And so I received my whatever to go into teaching in Florida. It's a little different than here. And so when I moved here, I went back to school and I was like, okay, I don't want to be a teacher because I don't want to get my master's. Because you have to get your master's in a certain amount of time in Massachusetts. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go take a law class now. I didn't grow up here. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And I will never forget, I'm sitting in the law class and the guy's like explaining some person who had not been captured at the time. And I didn't know who they were talking about. And he's explaining what the person is, known for and what, he could be charged with. And they're like, do you think you could represent him? And at the time, I didn't know there were all these other aspects of law, right? I didn't realize that like you could go into criminal law or you could go into real estate law or any of that stuff. And so he's explaining the person and what he's done over the years. And that person ended up being Whitey Bulger before he was found and all of that. And I was like, no, that guy's done that. I could never stand up and defend someone that has that. So it's not necessarily, and so obviously that whole, like, I'm going to be a lawyer thing threw out the window because, I can't do that. So I think there is some sort of moral code and compass, but everyone needs representation. Just don't post it on social media.
This guy said his reason was because the community wants him out of the community. That's why he's doing it. Just call it what it is. You're doing your job. He needs to sell his house. You're going to sell his house and he's done some bad shit.
Right. Don't put it on social media.
Oh, yeah, that too.
All right. What else we got?
Okay. This is a good one. Just received a lead from a young woman asking to see a property on a Saturday morning at 9 a.m. I asked her if she's working with an agent and she said yes, it's a family friend. So I asked her why she didn't ask him to show it to her. And she said she doesn't want to bother him because she doesn't know his schedule. This happens so much in our industry. People do it to me too. I then ask her if she's going to give him the offer if she decides to put an offer in, and she says yes. I proceed to tell her that's completely unethical to use another real estate agent to show you a property just to have your friend put the offer in. This is becoming a habit. I'm not sure what is going on with Gen Z, but they obviously have no ethics. They don't realize that we are not tour guides that work for free. I don't know if it's Gen Z, but any generation.
Okay. So am I allowed to like get on my soapbox on this one?
Sure.
Okay. With all the shit going on in the real estate world of everything that we're hearing all the time, like, just tell them you'll take him out and charge him a certain amount of money. like, fine. It's not unethical.
She went a little too far with the
Sh-
unethical.
Right.
I think that
And
a lot of times people are uneducated.
they're 100%.
It's a lack of understanding.
It's a lack of understanding. So take the time and explain to people how the business works. I'm not a car mechanic. If my car makes a funny noise, I'm going to take it to the mechanic, and he's probably going to rake me over the coals because the status, the whatever is that women are, I don't know what my filter needs.
Yeah.
I just don't know. So take the time, and I don't know.
Whenever I get my oil changed and they tell me the things it needs, I go, okay. They're like, are you going to do it? I'm like, nah.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But
I probably do need it, but I'm
like,
just going to say no.
Take the time and educate the person on the process, and educate that buyer and explain to them that how the business works, right? And
I find people don't understand that we don't get paid hourly or a salary, or because the same thing will happen to me. I'll have someone call me, get information from me. What are your rates? Even go as far as to get pre-approved with me.
mm-hmm.
And then they shop other people, which is fine. But then they will come back to me with what the other person said is like, oh, do you think they're giving me a good deal? And I'm like, that's kind of your thing to figure out at this point, because now you're asking me.
You want me to tell you
Yes,
if their rates are better than mine?
This happens all the time.
No.
And I'll be like, I'll do it. It sucks because when you're in the situation, you're always told you never know what something's going to turn into. You never know when they're going to come back to you. Yeah. And a lot of times they end up coming back to me.
They do.
Do you know how painful it is though to be like, yeah, they're doing this, and this right, and this, and this bad. And you've seen it happen to me. They do come back to me. And for some reason they always come back, but it is so, so, so painful.
It's very painful.
Because you're putting your time in. We're not getting paid for our time.
Right. We're not getting paid for our time.
If the client doesn't, use you, essentially.
And I think 90% of our job, forget all the minutia that we do behind the scenes, because we do a lot of shit behind the scenes.
That's not even, we sign up for it. We know what it is. I wouldn't even
We know what it is. But ultimately, our job, whether we're a home inspector, whether we're a real estate agent, whether we're a loan officer, whether we're a photographer,
it happens to all everybody.
Our job is 90% education.
Right.
I'm going to tell you the process. If I tell you the process correctly, there's going to be some paperwork involved, and then you're going to get your photos, or you're going to get your loan, or you're going to, close on the house. But educate people. That is.
Yeah, that one was a lack of knowledge. That was not, I don't think the person was genuinely understanding what they were doing.
No. And I mean,
I think she was fair in saying, hey.
And it's 100% okay to say, this is not for me. I am not willing to do this. But also, it doesn't matter if you're Gen Z. It doesn't matter if you're millennial. It doesn't matter if you're a boomer.
They all do it.
They all do it because they don't understand.
Yeah.
So if you want to be in the business long term, especially with how it's changing so rapidly, come from contribution. Contribute to other people. And I think, so I was a member of Zillow for a long time in the company and paid them a lot of money. And one of the reasons, besides the fact they were super expensive and I was just done with them, is that I did not continue my services with them, was because when they connect you with someone, they're we'll try to get them as a client. The unethical thing is to, and I actually had another agent tell me this many moons ago. And so Zillow was we'll try to convert them as a client. And I'm yeah, you can do that. But the unethical thing is to step on someone's toes.
Right.
Right.
Which I always also try heavily not to do.
Right. And so that is a fine line. But if you educate someone correctly and you take that time, that buyer very well could have said, oh my goodness, now that you've explained everything to me, maybe my current agent doesn't fit what I'm looking for right now. Maybe you do, asking follow-up questions and giving that information. And I think part of it is that the quote unquote professionals, as well as the consumers, the professionals don't want to give them the time of day because they've been burned. This agent has probably lost clients in the past, but there's no need.
Yeah.
There's no need.
But yeah, I get what she's saying though.
I get it. But
I think once she explained it to the client, she should have been like, hey.
I don't think
Get-
she explained it to the client.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, get your agent to bring you, or I'll do it and I'm your agent. Kind of, you know what I mean?
Well, like,
in a better
But
way.
not even that. Like, hey, like, you know, I like the other questions I have is like, was she the listing agent? My job as a listing agent is to sell the house. I don't
Right.
particularly work for a buyer in that scenario. I mean, there's things like dual agency and that type of stuff, but like majority of the time, if I'm hired as a buyer or I'm hired as a seller's agent, I'm working for that side of the transaction. So like if you're the listing agent and you're like, I'm not going to let you in the house because your agent's not with you, you're doing your seller a disservice.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, what else we got?
We'll do one more.
Because, you know, I got all these rants in me here.
Help, I'm freaking out. I don't know what I'm doing. How do you decide on a realtor? We have used one before. We loved for selling a home. This time we are buying. We know a bunch of reputable realtors. We have a bunch of recommendations coming at us. I'm already overwhelmed. Also, the real panic. We are pre-approved and ready to shop. So I saw something we love in our budget in a great location for us and reached out to set up a tour on Zillow. Stupid Zillow. This is what you were just talking about. Well, I talked to someone and set the appointment, but the person wants to be our realtor. Well, duh, I know, but I just wanted an appointment. I explained that I talked to a realtor already, but we weren't in contract with anyone and that they were just being kind of pushy. I just feel like they aren't our vibe. I don't know what to say. What do I do? I haven't signed anything, but they booked me an appointment. I wanted to view this for sure, and we are for sure interested. We know we need a realtor, but I don't know. What do I do? What do I say? They are texting me and emailing me. I haven't asked for anything other than the appointment time. I don't want them to work for me. Can I still view this home without them? Help. So, first part of that.
Yeah.
I do feel like we are taught in our industry, probably both of us, to be follow up, be pushy. My style in general is not pushy. I'm not one of those like a car salesman. Like I'm never gonna, if I'm not feeling the person is feeling me, I am not gonna continue to reach out to them like 2 or 3 times, but then I'm gonna let it lie. There's like an etiquette, and I feel like I'm gonna say it. I don't know if anyone's gonna get mad at the 12 people that listen to this, but like I do feel like the pushiness of some of the people in our industry is embarrassing to me.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It throws me just like a bad vibe. It's not my thing. I do not appreciate it.
So once again, multiple things. I think that this particular poster is very right in feeling the way that this poster feels. They have a wide cast net of people in their database or in their circle of friends that are in the real estate profession. And so how do you give business to someone? And how do you feel like your needs are being met and you're not letting people down? And I think that shows that this particular person is very cautious and is very caring. Not for nothing, they're already pre-approved and they don't have an agent. So like kudos to them. Like that's phenomenal. And I think that there's many ways, you know, you can definitely, I don't know how pushy the agent was.
No,
you
and
know,
I'm
like,
not, I don't know. I'm
how-
just saying from what the poster said. She
Right.
felt like they were being pushy.
Right. And I get that. And there are people, like, let's be honest, there's not a lot of houses on the market. I just had a phone call with another broker. And we can talk about that next. But and like, so people are going to be more on you.
I get it.
You know, like, and you're seeing that in the mortgage world too.
Oh my God, yeah.
There's just not that many deals out there. So if someone does come in, and if I'm paying for Zillow, because like that's a pretty penny to pay for, and there's not that many deals, and I got a mortgage to pay, I'm probably going to call a few more times than I probably should. But there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, thanks so much for setting up the appointment. This really isn't for me. I don't feel like we're going to be a good fit. See if there's an open house.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely ways around it. And this goes to another point of miseducation.
Right.
They're anxious. Buyers, especially first-time home buyers, are super nervous. They're trying to get all the knowledge. They're trying to suck it all in. They're trying to like figure out what they're doing without getting ripped off. They have all these worries. And like, I've just found like when you're pushy, it does not help.
Does not help.
It just, they're like recoil.
I equate it to babies.
Oh, yeah.
Babies smell fear. They do. You've never heard that?
Isn't it dogs?
I I mean, probably dogs, babies, same thing. But I always say that it's babies.
What is the baby gonna do to you?
So, like, if you're a nervous mom, the baby's gonna pick up
okay.
on that energy, and so they cry more, or they're more fussy, or things like that. And so, like, buyers and sellers, if you're going, I've seen it firsthand. If you go in, you're like, well, they're like, I don't want to work with you. Like, I'm just gonna like be the crying baby over here. That's like, no, this is too much for me. I'm gonna back out. Maybe now is not the right time to buy. Maybe now is not the right time to sell. You know, maybe now is not the right time to get a mortgage.
There is just like this delicate, I'm sure it happens on your side too, this delicate balance of like enough information and not too much. Because the second they get overwhelmed, it's over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's over.
Like, I'm not happening. Not happening. Absolutely not.
Babies, dogs, whichever. So our buyers and sellers are babies and dogs.
Oh my God. If I can work with babies, if I can work with dogs all day, I don't think I can work with babies.
Ew.
Let's be honest.
No babies.
Kids are overrated.
All right. So off topic. Oh, you wanted to go over your call.
Oh, no, I don't have to.
No,
it's
go.
just, it kind of goes into that. We're seeing changes in the market. So I had a broker call and I've never spoken to her. She didn't leave a message. I just called back because I thought maybe she wanted to see one of my listings. I don't know. And so I called back and she was like, oh my God, thank you for calling me. I am not a realtor. I have to say it right. I am not a realtor office. So like when you see things on, just another thing of miseducation, you see things on Facebook or TikTok or things like that. And they're like, hey, I'm looking for a realtor. The realtor name has done a really well of trademarking that. And so everyone thinks that every single person who is licensed to sell real estate is technically a realtor. And in fact, that's not true. So you have to pay money to be a realtor. Right. So this particular person has been a realtor for 30 years. She owns the brokerage, and they're like, hey, I see that you're not a realtor office. Can you give me some insight? I'm thinking about dropping it because, like, I heard the dues are somewhere around like $800 and something a year, and it's due January 1st with no payment plan.
So educate me.
Yes.
What's the difference?
So you want to get into real estate.
Yep.
You go and get your real estate license through the state, and you're a real estate agent.
Yep.
Then there's like, it's kind of like going to like a networking event, right? Like we pay money to go to networking events, or like you're a member of the chamber, or you're a member of like an organization, like, and so you're paying dues. So some old people back in the 1800s decided that they were going to all get together and they were going to form this organization or association that people pay dues to be a realtor. And the way that they
it's just like a title.
It's a title.
Okay.
And the way that they sold it is that, okay, we're all going to share all of these listings together. We're going to tell people what's going on in the market in our little circle. And then I don't know when it happened. I haven't done this much research, but somewhere from 1800 to now, someone was like, we're going to make everyone, in order to be a realtor, take an ethics course. So you have to pay all these dues.
Oh, we have to do that too.
You have to pay all these dues, and then you have to take a 2-hour ethics class, and you have to stand up at the front of the room and be like, I solemnly swear
we don't
to,
do that.
It's like a cult. It's like a cult.
Nah.
And they sell it, and I get it. And there are probably some people that it's really helped along the way. So this broker called and she's like, well, I just want to know like what the difference is. What are your main differences? What's this? What's that? And talking about like not educating people. I don't know how long this person's been a broker. Obviously a lot longer than I've been a broker. And so they let me know that they're losing agents because the fees are too expensive. I know you and I are doing a lot of research for other things. And so we've been talking a lot about that. And when I first got into the business, I was a realtor. I didn't know what I didn't know. And in order to be a part of some of the larger organizations, that's a requirement. So like, hey, come work for me. I'm going to take 50% of your commission.
You have to do this thing.
And you have to do this.
Gotcha.
And so in 90% of the country, in order to use MLS, you have to be a realtor.
Not in Massachusetts?
Not in Massachusetts.
Okay.
There are a few states that have some overlays and some bylaws at the state level. And so like the Cape, for instance, we live in Massachusetts. I cannot access the Cape MLS. Can't do it.
Oh.
They don't let me do it.
Gotcha.
You have to be
Because you're not a realtor.
You're not a realtor. But I can't just go be a realtor in the Cape. You have to be a realtor everywhere.
Gotcha.
And once you delineate that as a broker, then everyone in your company has to be a realtor.
So like everyone that's a realtor on the Cape right now must be like not having a fun time.
Anywhere.
But like if you're
Anywhere.
specifically to that area, you're like
yeah, you can't do business.
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
just
do,
like
and so like
and it's like no listing. Yeah.
Talking to this particular broker and asking what the differences were, I was like, well, my dues are different. So to be a part of our MLS system, I pay extra money every quarter. They get a discount, but they don't really get a discount. It's $40 a quarter, and you're already paying them $800 for the year.
It comes out in the wash in a different spot.
Wherever it's coming, like if I don't have any listings, why am I going to spend extra money on top? Like, no, it's just stupid. So, but that particular broker started asking me questions on how forms worked and what was still required. And I finally said, and finally said to this person, I said, I think we should do lunch because I think some of that misinformation and that misguidance or that miseducation is from my assumption, I'm assuming that this person is now everything. We follow realtor laws instead of our state laws that govern.
Right, because people don't know the difference.
They don't know the difference.
Right.
And if they don't know that difference from the professional level, how is that ever going to be translated down to the consumer level?
They don't, promote knowing the difference because then you wouldn't give them your money.
Right.
You don't have to. And
right.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I think there's misinformation all the way around.
Very interesting. I just learned something.
Right? What else is going on? Tell me all the good stuff.
I don't really have anything going on. Just trying to trudge through this part of winter, I guess.
It's cold as shit outside.
Yeah, it finally hit like the teens. It's not going to go back for months. It's like this part of winter, it's not going to end for a while.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
It's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So, good news. Well, no. No, it's not really. So I have a question.
Okay. I have no idea what's coming.
I know you don't. So we got a fence quote to redo the fence because, we bought this lemonade stand and when a real estate agent and an architect buy a house. So half of our yard has like this little fence, little short fence. And we live in an urban freaking area, like every yard connects and they're all like little postage stamp lots. And so, as you know, my next door neighbor to one side can literally see in my backyard every single thing we do. So when we're in the pool in the summer, we are directly on his Ring camera. Okay, fine. On the other side, I have like this 8-foot stockade fence.
Yes, you're like mismatched.
That the previous owner put up in the middle of the night. Yes.
Why?
Because
do you have to get a permit to get a fence?
You're supposed to. So
that's why he did it in the middle of the night.
He did it in the middle of the night, and because his mother was moving in, and she had a German Shepherd, and they had to fence the dog in. Okay, so I've been told this through my neighbors. I've been told this for the past year, but because they didn't put the fence in correctly, every time the wind blows, slats are now falling down randomly in the backyard. Like when we get that,
so it's technically your fence.
It's my fence.
Ugh.
It's on my yard.
Yeah.
And so, but my next door neighbor on that side has a beautiful home and a beautiful piece of property and this beautiful, little fence with iron rod, whatever. So finally, I've been like, okay, we need to paint the house this year. We need to, figure out what we're doing for fencing. And so I got a quote and I'm like, I don't know, that's really expensive. I don't want to pay the money for the quote. It's for just to re-fence that side.
One side, not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing. So my neighbor's still going to see us in the pool in our bathing suits in the summer. Like, I don't really know if I want to do it. I don't want to know if I do it. Mark had the wonderful idea to see if our neighbor wants to split it because technically it would abut their property. Do I ask?
Mark can ask.
He was like, I
He's
feel
the mayor. He'll
he's
be
like-
super diplomatic.
So
He'll be
I
super
said
nice.
that. I was like, I feel like that's a husband conversation.
yeah, it's like man to man shit.
He was like, I think it's a wife conversation, and the
No!
two women can be like I was like,
Number one, it was his idea. Number two,
well, the fence idea was my idea. It needs to
no,
be-
but the shared fence.
yeah,
I don't know.
right,
I'm like a.
right.
I'm gonna admit I'm not like the most neighborly person. I'm like a true New Englander that wants to like have all four sides of my shit blocked and not talk to anyone, which is probably maybe when I buy a house I'll feel different, but
No, it's
I'm not like a get in with your neighbors person. You guys are. I feel like you guys talk to your neighbors.
oh my god, no. So I don't talk to any of my neighbors. I try not to. So speaking of all of this the other night, so we get the quote and we're talking about it, and I'm on a don't buy anything from Amazon month. That was my resolution for January. Was I was not going to buy anything on Amazon, and I haven't. And we're at day 18, and I'm like chomping at the bit. I now have a list. So come February 1st, he's fucked because like the packages are just coming. That's that.
Oh, it was only for the month? I thought it was for the year.
No, I can't go a whole year.
I deleted DoorDash and Instacart, but I kept Amazon for the year.
Yeah. I mean, like, and I'll be better at it, but like, I haven't gone to Target. I think I've been to Target once, and like, I needed something for the business. Like, I had to buy it. But so he hasn't stopped that. I don't think he's given up any like, anyway, whatever. So he comes in with all these Amazon packages the other night, and he's opening them, and he pulls out like orthopedic inserts,
Oh no.
and I'm like, what? Do you have something
For
to
his
show?
shoes?
And they weren't ours. It was the neighbors that I'm talking about.
Ugh.
And I'm like, you need to go, like, you have to go take that over, and you have to tell them that they opened it. So
I would have just. This is why we're different.
so he goes over.
I would have number one thrown it away, or number two, I would have just taped it and put it on the porch and walked away.
Oh, it gets so much better than this, though. So much better. You're gonna love this. So he goes over, and I'm making dinner, and he comes back, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the neighbor invited me in," and I was like, "No, we don't go in neighbors' houses.
No.
We don't do that." Okay, fine. So in my kitchen, I have the door that goes to the mudroom that's not heated, and then we have the actual door. So we're sitting there eating dinner. Scarlett's done. She goes in the other room, turns the TV on, and him and I are like talking about work, and we're talking about taxes, and we're talking about the fence. And when we had moved the office to the house, I know I'm scatterbrained here a little bit, but we don't have a doorbell. And so I had a doorbell that went to my Ring camera.
Yeah.
But when we put the credenza in the hallway, I took the camera out. I didn't put it back, but that's the doorbell. And so I have a motion light on the side deck, and I see it go off, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And all of a sudden, the neighbor's wife up in the window. She'd been hitting the room, and the bell wasn't going off. She's like, I don't know if you noticed, but in the bottom of that Amazon package you opened, there was a little wristlet, and it doesn't really fit me. So I figured, I'd just bring it over and you could have it.
What?
And so we ended up doing.
This is a hard no for me. I don't want you to bring me gifts. I don't want you to come in my house.
I don't want anything.
I can just do. I'm like good with like, hey, how you doing?
Not
That's
even.
it. And I don't
Not
even want to do
even.
that.
Not even.
No, I'll do it
Not
if you do
even.
it, but I ain't gonna do it.
So
first.
I'll have to keep you updated on if.
So do you have the wristlet on?
No.
Oh, is it a wristlet like a purse?
It's like it's not even like I take it back. It's not a wristlet. It's like a little key holder, but it's got like a buckle on it, so you can like lock the keys in. But like
She said it didn't fit her.
Yeah, it just wasn't her style, and I was like,
Okay,
lady, I can't. So,
I can't wait for them to stumble on this pod.
oh, so speaking of that, when we first moved in, and I had that lady who threw her dog shit in my barrel, and I posted it on Facebook. The neighbor came over and she's like, I see my house on the town Facebook page. So like it's only a matter of time before this comes.
Oh no, you need a fence. Get the fence.
Get the fence.
Whole fence.
Whole fence. All right. Well,
This was
on
fun.
that note,
Very educational.
very
today.
educational.
We
So
were like pretty serious for a while.
yeah,
Then more like I didn't swear too much.
I did.
I did a couple times.
I did.
I don't
swore
feel
one.
like shit to swear anymore.
No, it's not.
It's lower level.
All right. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.